All right, let's. You've got a clip. Ole Miss on Friday had their much anticipated meeting, which I tried to pour water on everybody's expectation on this. I doubt anybody listened. But what came out of this meeting was a statement typed up and delivered on X.com, which always inspires lots of confidence. That basically we had a good talk. We've decided to punt this conversation, and a decision is expected on Saturday after the Egg Bowl. So all of our focus is on Mississippi State, and despite what actually is happening around the world, we are just solely focused on the Egg Bowl.
All right, hot take. The decision's done. They just don't want to upset the potential Egg Bowl, or they don't want to upset upheaval in the coaching staff before the Mississippi State game.
I don't know that I
like Lane is gone, right? Like he's gone.
Right? I would say that Lane is 75% gone. I don't think that Lane wants to stay at Ole Miss given the opportunity to go to LSU. That's what I believe. I believe that Lane, in a perfect world, and given truth serum and put on this podcast with me and Blockhead over here, he would say, I want to go to LSU. But more than my desire to go to LSU, or at least equal to my desire to go to LSU, is to coach this team that I've put together and coached for 6 years. I want to coach them through the playoffs, in which Ole Miss has told them, no, you're not doing that.
We'll let you stay to the Egg Bowl. How about that?
So you cannot realistically say that you are in the playoff unless you beat Mississippi State. Which is a weird spot to be in. I don't like it, but it's just a fact. You've got to go beat a Mississippi State team that is 1-6 in the SEC. They're 5-6 overall. You're going to be a 10 or more point favorite. A game you should win, but it's an Egg Bowl. It's a rivalry. Things are weird. But you've got to win that. So what gives us the best shot? And I think this is kind of what the crux of the conversation on Friday was in their all-important meeting was. It came down to what gives us the best chance to win Friday against Mississippi State. And it's probably Lane Kiffin coaching the team. And so we are just going to punt. We're not going to talk about this anymore. If you look at Lane's Twitter feed, he's not tweeting unless it's about his son's high school football game Friday night. He's not tweeting. I'm sure he was told to stay off his phone. Don't make this about you. Minimize as much as possible. This is a short news cycle. I'm sure it'll ramp back up at game time. That's all the broadcast will talk about. But we've got to put in a week of practice for this Egg Bowl in which we cannot have split allegiances. And you can do what you want to do. It's going to be quiet. We're going to try to have a normal week as much as possible.
Well, somebody needs to talk to the chancellor at Ole Miss because he went on a podcast this morning. And what's the podcast called?
It's the Super Talk. It's the Super Talk Mississippi. It's FM radio.
So Andrew Cross is the host of it.
Richard Cross.
Richard Cross, excuse me. I don't know why I said Andrew. Richard Cross is the host of it. He interviewed the chancellor for Ole Miss, and the Ole Miss chancellor said this. I want to get your instant reaction to it.
Okay.
Staff, they're absolutely amazing, and they do a tremendous job all up and down the line. And Coach Kiffin has done a great job putting together that coaching staff, and that coaching staff is really where the players stay focused. That coaching staff is the ones that keep them grounded. It keeps them led, and it makes sure that they're ready and prepared to play the game. And so I'm excited about the fact that this coaching staff has done this kind of job this year with this team.
Okay.
That brother's gone, right? Like that.
Yeah, this kind of proves my point. All right, so this is the most criminal aspect of what Lane has done in the sideshow becoming the main show in Lane Kiffin is that you've missed out on so many. This is a storybook season for Ole Miss. Yes. This has been a Division II quarterback coming from he was going to Temple and instead changed his flight direction to Oxford, Mississippi to be the backup at an SEC school and starting and being absolutely amazing in 10 games for Ole Miss, leading them to what's a win away from a playoff and a home game in a playoff at that.
Right.
And you take that, and that's a storyline to itself. Not to mention, and storylines are storylines, whether they're good or bad. tragedy hit this team a week before camp started when 3 players were shot and 1 player killed a week before fall practice. And you have overcome that. There are so many amazing storylines. The coordinators have done an incredible job. All this. And so what has been missed because of all this is all this crap is not being talked about. You've got a guy who's leading the country in touchdowns, and nobody knows his name because instead of the coach going on the podium and talking about how amazing of a game Kewan Lacey had against Florida, he's having to talk about coaching rumors. You're not talking about this stuff. So Glenn Boyce, who is the chancellor at Ole Miss, got on the phone. He said, all right, in my opinion, this is what happened. They told Lane to worry about coaching, stay off the phone, stay off media, stay off of interviews, do game prep, put your best. We're going to take the messaging away from you and try to put it on what we believe is important. And that is what the players have done this year, the storylines with Trinidad Chambliss, the tragedy that stuck, the coordinator's doing a good job, and we're going to put the onus on things that actually reflect greatly on this university as we approach a playoff run. Because what happened last week was terrifying if you're an Ole Miss fan, because not just the Lane stuff, but then the committee started putting out sources from the committee started saying, like, hey, Ole Miss could drop if their coach leaves. Drop with a win to where you're not hosting. With a loss at 10-2, or a solid 10-2 team, I think Ole Miss is just toast. There's no way they're putting in a 10-2 team without Lane Kiffin, because the storyline is, oh, this is a chaotic situation, and we're gambling on, good games, and we're not going to gamble on a 10-2 team that just lost their coach. So you're taking and you're trying your hardest to make the storyline about Trinidad Chambliss, about Joe Judge and Trinidad Chambliss' relationship, a former NFL head coach that has found success here at the college level, and a D2 quarterback that has found success here at Division I in the SEC, and Kewan Lacey, who should be in the Heisman talk, and how this team has overcome from tragedy before the season even started to a 10-1, potentially 11-1 season. You're trying to fix your messaging. Everything that's been missed because of Lane and the detriment that it could cause the selection committee to focus on Lane, you're trying to make them focus on something else, anything else, and things that honestly should be talked about a lot more.
But you're also dealing with a coach who wants to be the main focal point of the conversation. And so I guess my frustration is, or not my frustration, when I heard that clip, I understand what you're saying. They're trying to change the narrative, but you only put Lane Kiffin on the back burner when the decision has been made. Lane's not going to be a part of this program moving forward.
Or or it's just a wild card. Like, you just don't know. Because I truly believe that if Lane was leaving, then I don't think he leaves that interview. If he were to tell Glenn Boyce and athletic director Keith Carter that I'm going to LSU a week from Saturday, then I don't believe you can employ him any further. Like, it just works against everything else. Like, he's recruiting your players that are on staff. That becomes public knowledge, and you're letting him coach. It's just not how this works anymore. I think Lane is, I think he's not as complicated of a man, and not as, he's not what we think he is. I think that he is a genuinely a man torn, but he lives in the spotlight and he likes to troll. But at its essence, I believe this is a this or that conversation, and it is just as simple as you want to go to LSU, but you have to give up your playoff run, and that is something that is extremely torn in that. And Kiffin's a lightning rod. He's going to be talked about regardless of whatever else goes on. He's the hottest name in coaching. That's just the topic. Just the topic. He's missed multiple opportunities to talk about his team and a playoff run because he's talking about this, and it's his own fault. It's his own fault. Don't get me wrong. Any coach, 99 coaches out of 100 would coach their playoff team. It wouldn't even be a topic of conversation. That's just not something. Kurt Signetti, if Penn State opened up, most people would call it foolish that he wouldn't take the Penn State job. But you know what? Indiana's making a run now. and he signs the dotted line. It could be that simple, and it's just not. I don't think Lane knows what he's wanting to do, although I do think that there is a reason. I don't think that Lane is ready to say that I'm giving up on this team in the playoff run, but the truth of the matter is he doesn't truly want to stay, or he would have signed. It's that simple.
Yeah,
and to make things even weirder, you wanna go super nuclear on how weird this could get. Ole Miss gets in the SEC championship game, could play a week from Saturday in Atlanta for the first time ever if Ole Miss wins, and then you've got Alabama loses the Iron Bowl and Texas beats Texas A&M in rivalry games in which the spreads on both of those are less than 6. Weirder, that would not even be weird if Auburn beat Alabama and Texas beat Texas A&M. Then Ole Miss would be in the SEC championship game, and you're going to want to have to punt this again.
Yeah, I just think Ole Miss I think the Ole Miss administration hold all the cards here. I really do, because I think
they don't though. They don't though, Kenny, because there's nothing they can do. There are options. You could the most nuclear option that Ole Miss has is to suspend Lane Kiffin with pay, and then it becomes, you're getting into kind of a war there, because Lane Kiffin is under contract to coach this team. Until he walks away, you can't fire him. There is no offset clause in his contract, so if you fire him, you owe him $30-ish million, and he's still going to take the LSU job the next day.
But he just wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be able to go to where he wants to go, and he wants to be able to coach his team all the way to the very end. And that's where I think Ole Miss, the administration, hold all the cards, because they can say, "Sorry, here's what you're going to do. You are going to stop tweeting. You're going to stop doing these Pat McAfee interviews where you make us look foolish in every single way."
He looked foolish in that interview.
I
think Ole Miss is smelling like roses right now.
I agree.
I think that Keith Carter's done an incredible job, but the problem is I cannot say, and I'm in it, man. I'm all the way in it. I'm a lifetime guy. I've been in the weeds with this. I have no way of being able to agree with you saying Ole Miss holds all the cards, because that ultimately means that they can have they can make Lane do what they want to do, and they can't unless they fire him. And they're not going to fire him because you're going to owe him $30 million and it doesn't offset. If there was an offset agreement here in which you only owe him what LSU doesn't pay him, then you could fire him right now, because LSU is going to give him more money than Ole Miss was, and there is no buyout.
I'm not saying they hold the cards to Lane's future. I'm saying they hold the cards to how all of this is impacting this season right now going into the playoffs, right? They have the ability to say, we'll let you coach as long as you shut up, as long as you let us handle all of the media.
But what's if you're going to say that, I have a hard time finding how they can hold his feet to the fire. That's where I struggle. To say you hold all the cards, or to say that you are the dominant person in these negotiations, means you have to have something you've got to have the trump card. And ultimately, I think Lane's got the trump card, because he's like, I'm under contract, and if you fire me, you owe me $30 million, and then I'm going to go to LSU. I'm going to go to LSU on my own terms. I could beat Mississippi State, get this romantic feeling about Oxford again, and then I'll just sign the contract.
What do they say? What is it? What does the guy want? He wants to go to LSU. I think that's done. I think that decision is done. I think he's gone. I think that's part. I think Ole Miss administration has come to the realization he's not going to be the head coach at Ole Miss anymore. The only card they hold, that makes Lane fall in line is, I want to coach this team till it's over. Right?
Again, and they're not going to let that happen.
And they're not going to let that happen.
But you know what? They're going to be helped out on that decision, because LSU doesn't want him to coach.
LSU doesn't want to coach all the way through. Yeah.
LSU doesn't want to coach it. So he's going to have to piss or get off the pot, and it's going to happen from multiple fronts. And you're just, again, I don't know that the worst that press release kind of did two things. It punted it, yes. But it also left Ole Miss with the thing of saying, we know that it's an option that you're going to leave. Therefore, we're starting our search whether you like it or not, whether you stand or not. Ole Miss is fully conducting a coaching search, and they're not hiding it anymore. They have addressed it that Lane could leave, and they are fully going after their next coach. And if Lane stays, then Lane stays. If Lane leaves, then I think Ole Miss will get the coach that Ole Miss wants.
Yep. Do you think that Jared asked? Do you think the Egg Bowl result has any impact on whether he leaves or not?
Yeah. I mean, if he loses, he's out. I mean, if he loses, he won't be welcome back. And they would have, if he tried to sign there wouldn't be a contract left for him to sign if he loses.
Could you imagine that would be worst case scenario for Lane Kiffin? Is if
what are you talking? Like, this would be like a nuclear reactor melting down in Oxford, Mississippi if you lose this game. Like, it would be untenable. It would set the program back a decade. Like, I don't really know how you recover from that, because you single-handedly melted this thing down. And then you're going to leave and go to LSU, and you've got a return date in Oxford next year, and you don't have you're not going to the playoffs. You've ruined everything. Everything. Yeah.
You want to talk about Memphis fans have held on to the hate for John Calipari for some years. If they lose this Egg Bowl,
buddy, I mean, you thought the remnants. I'm not even going there. Nope, not doing it. I was going to say something I regret, trying to draw parallels that shouldn't be drawn, but
which is why
it would be awful.
Which is why you should absolutely come to Ground City Brewing this Friday, 11 a.m. at Ground City Brewing. College football Saturdays. The Egg Bowl will be live on the projector with sound. Rusty will be there. I wish we could get you there, Drew. I think this is the one. I know you can't come, but I
don't enjoy the Egg Bowl. Like, I think Rusty would back me up on this. I'm a diehard Ole Miss fan. I am. I do not like Mississippi State, and but I'm not the guy that's ever texted Rusty and just be like, "Suck it," or obnoxious about it. Like, I don't really like to be that way. I make jokes, but like I'm not filled with vitriol after an Ole Miss win in the Egg Bowl. Conversely, I don't even enjoy winning the Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl is never a sense of joy in winning.
It's a survival
it is relief.
Type of thing. Yeah, it's relief.
It is absolute relief, especially when you've got everything on the line. I've seen this movie before. Teams have gone down to Starkville and lost to worse Mississippi State teams before. This is the one that's got the most on the line. I've seen Ole Miss lose to Mississippi State before when they're trash. It's not fun. It's not fun. Ole Miss could be up 75-0 in the third quarter. I would not celebrate until it's over. And when it's over, you just exhale and then just be like, oh, now we got to freaking wait till tomorrow to see what our coach is doing. Like, there's just nothing fun about this at all.
Well, I'm more than likely going to be on mic at the College Football Friday show.
I'm sure it's just going to be nothing but a Mississippi State love fest.
Would you like me to? I will commit on air. I'll be your mouthpiece. You text me and I'll say things. How about we do that?
No, I listen. I'll just be 100% honest with you guys. When I watch the Egg Bowl, I have to set my phone down. I don't interact with the outside world because it's Mississippi is different than Tennessee and Arkansas and Louisiana. Like, the whole state pulls in one direction. Like, you've got family members that'll just call you names, and it gets ugly. And again, it's not a enjoyable experience. So I just put my phone down. I watch it in agony, and then if we win, I will just go do something fun with the family. And if we lose, I'll just go home and go to bed. And I'll see y'all Monday morning here on the show. And I'm going, and we also watch. That's not why I'm not going though. This is a family tradition. Thanksgiving, I watch it with my dad. So I'm not skirting Rusty. I'm not scared of Rusty, but I do watch this with my dad.
Well, if you're in Memphis or if you're in Oxford and you want to come and enjoy the game with us, we're going to.
If the Rebs get up 48-0 at the half, I may drive out there.
Let's go.
Again, we're going to sweat this one out to the very end. I know it.